like a good way to get a copyright strike.
Yeah, it would be. There's one small problem though.
You just were you planning on playing the music in the down below and just realised the head pack doesn't work?
Yeah.
How do you think I figured out the head pack didn't work?
Well, you
tried the
tried
one
to
in
play with
there.
my TARDIS. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name's Hunter555. The person who is being surprised at my ineptitude is Minipax, and the person giggling along is Scotsman.
Hello.
I hope
Defined
we're
as
all.
being smug.
I hope we're all having a tolerable Monday.
Smug mode. Engaged.
Yes. Unfortunately,
Now we're crossing the streams.
Oh, for crying out loud! Stop with the references. Hello,
crikey.
Storm.
Hey, Storm.
Anyway, where was I? Yeah,
We're
it
trying to
turns
make
out that
music
the
and failing.
head pack that allows us to produce sounds with heads and also customizable music discs, I think, has broken. So,
Incidentally, the reason I was being smug was because I've just told them.
yeah, they have
They
just told
immediately
me.
went to try and use it.
Yeah, because I am a fool of a toque. Storm is here, but not speaking verbally because no mic.
Storm shall only be talking about the episodes in interpretive dance.
No, that was Rogue. Yes, so we are playing on Infinity Cove, but we're actually going to be mostly talking about Minecraft. Mike is connected to earbuds.
Over
Earbuds
ears,
making my ears
Storm.
ow. No worries, Storm.
Over
oh
ears for your friend.
Right, Mythical, thank you for the resub for 25 months. True Purple, thank you for streaking for 7 streams. Ginger the Lily, thank you for the 29-month subscription streak. And thank you for the 30 bits for Large Pants. And Scotsman, thank you for the 30 bits for the Large Scream.
You don't have to spend $100. I wasn't saying, like, you need to get them right now.
Ow! What was that for?
Audio Technica do a pretty good set for... Well, they're about 25 quid here. I don't know how much they are in US money.
Anyway, yes, we're on Infinity Cove, but we're actually going to be talking about Doctor Who. We are going to be talking about The Legend of Ruby Sunday, the penultimate episode, and Empire of Death, the final episode. There are going to be tons and tons and tons of spoilers. Lots of them.
Sweetie.
If you haven't... Really. If you have not seen these episodes and you would like to watch them without having the plot twists ruined, watch the VOD when it eventually makes its way onto YouTube. Or even just watch the episodes now and then come back to the VOD afterwards. Because there's no way we can talk about any of this without spoilers. Storm, have you watched the episodes? I don't remember. I can never keep track of who watches Doctor Who and who just kind of hangs around in these streams. Have not yet, but I'm okay with spoilers. Okay. Just catching up with them. Okay, right. Scotsman, out of 10. Legend of Ruby Sunday.
That was the first one, wasn't it?
Yes.
Probably about an 8.
An 8. Minipax. Out of 10. The Legend of Ruby Sunday only.
Yeah, I'd say somewhere around there, 7 to 8. Only because it was the first of a
2-parter.
double episode, and they were always a bit meh-ish because you're always waiting for the next bit.
And apparently Turing has seen the episode, so Turing, because apparently you can hear. I assume you're lurking in stream. Out of 10, how would you rate The Legend of Ruby Sunday?
Hey, Ginger.
We'll give him a moment, because I appreciate there's going to be a delay. You remember in your stream, Stars asked me to build something for her. I'm concerned what might be being discussed in my chat.
A different stream.
Well, yes, I gathered that. Not impressed, to be honest. 4 out of 10. Huh.
That just the first episode, Joey.
Is it? Yeah, is that just the first episode or both of them? That's not the result I was. I've heard nothing but good things about the The first episode especially, I've heard nothing but good things. Like, obviously people can find something to criticise. Disappointed with both. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'll keep quiet.
I'd definitely go 8 or 9 for the first one. Now, normally we talk about if we're doing 2 episodes, we talk about the first episode, take the break, talk about the second episode. The nature of a 2-parter makes that very difficult. In theory, we could do it, but it's just easier.
We all do that, Joey.
I mean, yes, everyone does that.
Except maybe Hunter.
I mean, Tom
you don't
Baker,
you want so much hanker as you look back in like wistful ignorance.
Well, Tom Baker specifically with my parents' doctor, so.
Yeah, but you weren't here when Tom.
Well,
was.
yes, but I tend to look back at him and think, I can see why my parents enjoyed him. But he's my parents' doctor. He's very much like he's your parents' thing,
Fifth
not
was
yours.
my doctor. 5th was the one I remember most growing up.
Mythical was a bit disappointed by the
remember most
second.
fondly is 7th.
I enjoy 7th stuff, particularly with Ace.
Yeah. Tennant.
The storylines for 7
Tennant
were
was
far
my
more
doctor as well,
interesting.
as well as Eccleston, Smith, Capaldi, Whittaker, Tennant, and
Well,
Gatwa.
which was the first one? Like, which was the one that you were like first?
My
hooked into, 'cause
first ever
that's why I say
doctor.
5th is mine.
Oh, Eccleston.
Okay, so that's the one you got hooked on. Okay.
Yeah, that was
My first one was way earlier than that, but
I mean, the
7th
first one
is
that
mine.
got you like hooked, the one that you were like you wouldn't miss an episode on.
I mean, yeah, Eccleston, because that's when I started watching Doctor Who, and my parents wouldn't let me miss an episode to begin with, and then I wouldn't let them miss an episode. I will it when like we'd go out to the pub with family friends down the road, and I would leave early. I would finish my food and just go, so I didn't miss Doctor Who. So it was the only time I was allowed to just ditch a social occasion with my family, was Doctor Who. I mean, I'd be impressed if you started watching Doctor Who in 2004, considering it didn't return for a reboot until 2005. And you've just said
So
your first
where do we go
Doctor
from
was
here? Are we talking about the first episode, or are we going to do scores
yeah.
for second?
Yeah. Scores for the second episode. Scotsman again. Out of 10.
4.
Minipax.
Yeah, 4.
Turing, I'm guessing it's a 4 again. I'll be perfectly honest. I'm a 4 as well. And for a long time, it was hard to disappoint me with a Doctor Who episode. For the finale, Storm. That's for the finale episode. We will explain why. So, first of all, Legend of Ruby Sunday. General thoughts. What were our feelings? Like, let's try and keep the big bit from the end at the end of the talk. Let's talk about the rest of the episode first.
It built it up nicely. I really liked the interactions with the unit and the characters and the way they explored stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I would pretty much agree. It was just, it's one of those things. I always have problems with the first half of a 2-parter, where they have to set so many things up and they never quite get anywhere. I was quite pleased with that episode because it did have a big ending. So like normally the first part of a 2-parter I'd rank lower than that, but I actually quite like this one because it left me wanting the next episode really well. So yeah, it was fairly decent.
Yeah, it set up. It set up enough. It didn't like. I don't think it set up too many things to resolve in the next episode.
No, it resolved more than it set up in a few places. And actually, that was good because it left you feeling, okay, we've resolved a few things, we've got some stuff, let's see where we're going with the big.
Yeah. There was some moments I really enjoyed. So I really enjoyed the scene where the TARDIS comes into land and it just glides, like you see Unit all getting ready for the Doctor to land. He just glides through the doors and just parks in Unit headquarters. Saying that, I'm not a fan of Unit Venger's Tower.
No.
I much preferred it when they had a headquarters like hidden under the Tower of London.
I liked it when it was an old army base that looked like it was something out of Bletchley Park.
I agree with both of those statements, though. In the universe of Doctor Who, that they get aliened every 20 minutes in London, I think Unit having a really obvious headquarters there would kind of make political sense. There is at least someone over there in that big tower doing something about these aliens.
I think because
don't forget nowadays.
Sorry, I think for a long time that Unit were trying to keep the lid on aliens.
They were trying to be secret, but they're not a secret organisation anymore. They used to be.
Yeah, Torch became the secret organisation in New Who.
Yeah, the flip side, they're getting aliened every 20 minutes.
Well, that's actually referenced in 73 Yards, that they are hanging on by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah.
Don't like the fact that Unit are spying on people and much preferred them when they were more military. They're leaning very shield / creepy government organisation in a way I don't like. Yeah, no, that is very true. They're getting a bit more surveillance statey.
Again, it's a product of the era, unfortunately. Yeah. Both from the design aspect and from the fact that, if you were an organisation trying to keep an eye on aliens and do all those sort of things these days, you would be using all the tech.
And I mean, the UK the UK is one of the most watched most watched populations on the planet. This is Tuesday for us.
I did also like the way that Unit turned around and went, well, duh.
Yes, no, that was... There's these really tense build-up moments where the Doctor makes this big reveal and then they just go, yeah, we figured that out a while ago. And it's just the way the camera cuts them all and they're just kind of smirking at each other yeah, for once we actually already know this.
Yeah,
then they turned that on its head anyway.
The problem is the government are doing those creepy things all the time.
Yeah, unfortunately these days, a government organisation is doing that. So it makes even the good guys are doing that. Good guys with heavy air quotes on them.
I have opinions there, but let's not get political.
Yeah, let's try and avoid that. The way the Doctor walks into the time window, just inspects it, keeps a perfectly straight face, just kind of peering around, and then just bursts out laughing.
I liked before that where
yes, absolutely.
Do you have a time window?
No, you expressly forbid it.
No, of course not.
You expressly forbid it. You said it was too dangerous. Kate, where is your time window?
10
floors down.
Yeah, I did like that.
Yeah, the Doctor knows. Kate, the Doctor worked with your father. He knows what you do. You have a memory-proof Black Ops site, and the Doctor knows all about it.
I thought he was the one who set up the memory-proof.
Not the Black Archives.
Oh, different one. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Black Archives.
There is a Doctor Who book where the 11th Doctor, Amy and Rory, have to go to a storage facility, and it's run by an alien. It's meant to be an alien storage facility, and they're looking for the Doctor's one, and they find an open one, and it's a bunch of little goblin-like aliens all huddled around a slightly charred book, building what is described as a 6-sided ship control console. And it's basically they're trying to rebuild the TARDIS from a singed TARDIS manual that I suspect was pulled from a supernova. And the Doctor just looks at them and says, "Yes, I can see what you're doing. Mental note: come back later to dismantle this."
To be fair, if there were TARDIS bits near me, I'd be trying to rebuild one.
Well, yes. But there were some very funny moments and then some very tense moments. Though I have to say that unit soldier who was in the time window, head of time window security, his name escapes me. Yeah, we were introduced to him and I'm just like, yeah, he's dead.
Chandru?
You mean Sergeant
Chandru or something like that. It was an Indian name, but I can't remember.
Yeah, he was from Manchester.
Yeah.
But that's all I remember. He was from part of Manchester. But yeah, we were introduced to him. They said hello, shook hands. He said, "I'm a massive fan." Turing, I don't know which one that was. They were both good looking to me.
Not the one that's always hanging around, being slightly over pally with
the Doctor.
With Kate.
Oh, with Kate.
And the Doctor. Yes.
Well, okay.
The one that was in the time window specifically.
Yeah.
The one that she jokes with and says, and she mentions Salford, being a Salford girl, which I didn't quite figure how that worked, considering she was supposed to have grown up in London.
Well, yeah, I was a bit confused. And I also thought she said she was from Tameside.
Well, she mentioned Tameside. I think maybe he mentioned Salford, which is
okay.
Would make sense.
But yeah, we were introduced to him and I'm just like, yeah, he's dead. Did not even bat an eye at the fact that they basically just telegraphed his death to us.
Yeah. Which is fine. That you need those characters in something like Doctor.
Yeah.
You need those people who are gonna just die so you can move to the next bit of the plot.
Yeah, I just wish they telegraphed it slightly less.
Yeah. It was the second he backed off towards the TARDIS and was going off stream, we were just welp.
Well, it was the moment of, you told us not to move. Yes, but I'm breaking rules. Yes, he's dead.
Well,
but it wasn't breaking rules for himself or Ruby, was he? He was only breaking rules for that one red shirt.
Yeah, he was more than happy to sacrifice. You actually see after the body is revealed, he apologized to Kate. Kate
the look
glares
on Kate's
at him.
face.
Kate's face is like thunder because he's basically sacrificed her soldier's life. Yes, she knows they do a dangerous job, but she's not she does not want their lives to just get thrown away.
Did make me wonder what a class 10 or whatever options paper was, or whatever it was she was calling for.
I must have missed that line, or at least not committed it.
So after the death, after the time window shattered and all of that, she asks for psyops. Or etc. So basically, people to sort of help with getting through all of that. But then she asks for 2 protocols. Yes, Protocol B and Option 10 or something like that. And it does make me wonder what she's asking for, because that might not necessarily have been a deal with a dead body thing.
No, I think it's lockdown protocols and basically lock down everything, count everyone, and make sure there's no one in the building that shouldn't be. Is how I kind of took that. Just classic spec ops. Got to hide everything under a silly name.
Well, it's like gold protocol, which means the Doctor's coming.
Whereas I just thought Tahiti.
Sorry, you caught me as I was drinking then.
Sorry, I apologise.
We saw Ruby comes up and is just like, they won't let my mum in, and Kate's just like, well, we can't let your mum in. This is a high maximum security facility. And I was just like, we can absolutely let her in. She's wonderful. She can be trusted. And I'm just thinking, there's no way in hell UNIT didn't do a background check on her.
No. But judging by who else works there, she'll have been hired by the end of the week.
Which actually takes me on to my next point of, what do you mean that you didn't know the Doctor has a granddaughter? There is a picture of Susan in the Black Archives.
Yeah, whether or not she wants to be, you're right.
Yep. Yeah, that was a big bit of sort of, there's a massive gap there.
How do you mean massive gap? Sorry.
UNIT screwing up even worse than usual.
Yeah, no, they should absolutely know that. I mean, the Brigadiers met Susan. Granted, in the Five Doctors, where I'm not 100% certain that they had all their memories kept, so might not remember meeting her. But
I always kind of imagined that they wouldn't have on that one, but I don't think it was ever expressly said, was it?
No, Sarah Jane never acknowledges it, and we see her the most after the fact. Not counting the companions travelling with the Doctor at that time. But I don't know if it's expressly stated that they had their memories erased. Susan does not really make sense. She comes from very early days. That's true, but she's still an established part of the canon.
In one of the episodes, I can't actually remember whether it was the episode we're talking about now, he mentions, she says, you've got a granddaughter, and he's like, yes, well, I didn't even know you had kids, and he's like, I don't yet.
Yeah.
Like, that, for a time travel, that totally makes sense. That basically makes Susan, like, more of a classic companion. He happened to meet someone who's related to him, but he hasn't actually... He hasn't made the family yet. Yeah, that's some other Doctor further down the line.
I would agree with that, with one small problem, depending on how we're taking Time Lord procreation. Well, actually, it's a small problem regardless of how we take it.
Time Lord procreation?
Well, if we assume that they procreate in the same way humans do, then they cannot be pure, like, fully Time Lord, because... I mean, to be perfectly honest, that suggests that the Doctor and the Master, well, Doctor and Missy, or the Doctor and the Master, were getting intimate. The alternative is a book canon method, which is Time Lords are not born or conceived; they are weaved using the I think like the time loom or something.
I think with all the timeless child stuff, that's got to have gone by now. Because they talk about them being like normal biological beings in normal time until they basically use the Doctor as a test subject. Well,
yeah, true.
Take the technology from the Doctor, effectively.
True.
I mean, heck, we've got the Doctor's daughter as a clone out there.
Well, so... yeah, that is it depends. If you take you take extra stuff as canon, then she's not around. Supposedly she's dead, but I don't tend to take that as canon. Yeah, and then I'm trying to think, was there anything else that we hadn't discussed apart from the final reveal?
The only thing I'd say about that is I think they did a really good job of leading us by the nose to who we're supposed to expect. The I've forgotten what the name is. Susan
Foreman. Or do you mean the actual...
No. The one that's in the big reveal.
Triad?
Susan Triad.
Triad, thank you.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember the word triad. I think they did a really good job of leading us by the nose to where that was. It got a little bit blatant in that episode, but I do think they did a reasonable job there.
I was fully convinced that Susan Triad was connected to Ruby in some way.
I thought they would be.
But what I did not reveal... No, what I did not expect was the reveal that the guy pulling the strings was Sutek, of all beings. I've said that with such emphasis that most people aren't going to know who the hell I'm talking about.
Yeah, proper classic Doctor Who.
I went back and watched that whole four-parter.
So, for those who are familiar with the reboot Doctor Who, that's the stuff that started in 2005, but not particularly familiar with classic Doctor Who, Sutek was a Fourth Doctor villain. He faced off against the Fourth Doctor and Sarah Jane, I believe? Sarah Jane Smith?
Yes.
And was it the Pyramids of Mars? Never mind, Turing's beat me to it, yes. So, in that series, in that story, Sutek is I believe, the last survivor of a race called the Osirans. Guess what they inspired? If you guessed ancient Egyptian mythology, you'd be right. He was imprisoned by his people for being basically a cold-blooded killer. he was imprisoned and then I think nearly escaped, and the Doctor to basically defeat him, threw him into the time vortex. And that was the end of that. Or so we thought. It turned out, as was revealed in the finale episode, he'd been clinging to the TARDIS this entire time.
That actually felt not too bad.
That's since the 4th Doctor. We're on the 15th.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm not saying that this is a bad thing. I'm just emphasising how long he was clinging to the TARDIS for. And because he's been ripped through the time vortex for so long, and
it sounds like you're about to give away the last episode thing.
We are moving on to that.
Yeah. I was about to say one thing that we missed out from the first of the two-parters, though. Mrs. Flood.
Oh yes.
She in the first episode pulled yet another staring into the camera, although the camera was supposed to be in Ruby's grandmother context
Cherry.
at that point. Thank you.
I wanted to say Carmen for some reason.
Cherry Sunday.
But yes, she definitely, Mrs. Flood is definitely, yes, she is.
Yes.
Yeah, she's the older neighbour that keeps
looking
doing
directly
things
at
that
the
are
camera.
Looking at the camera, talking to us rather than talking in universe.
Yeah, she's talking to the
and
audience.
Mentioning weird things. Like she, I'll be interested to find out what or who she is, simply because of that power. That, I don't think that's anything that we've ever come across in Doctor Who that I can think of.
What 4th War books?
And the comments about I had so many plans, but that's a second part.
Yeah.
I don't know. With the Sutek reveal, did anyone click onto the advertising stuff for this season? The connection between Ncuti Gatwa's promo pictures and the background that Sutek falls into in the original
No?
4-parter.
Missed that.
I'll put it. Where should I put it in the
Hunt
Discord?
chat it.
Yeah, we really need to get that.
Yes,
group up
I
and
know.
going. But I know they're not the same, but I was pretty suspicious. Oops. Look at those two images in there.
that picture is not flattering for Sutek.
No, it's not. But that's what it's
There's no flattering one for him.
But look at the background of the time vortex he falls into, and then the design of the time vortex in the Ncuti Gatwa picture. I was like, should have seen that one.
Yeah. In fairness, I haven't seen Pyramids of Mars, so I can be forgiven for not catching
but not
that.
for a long time.
I know Sutek from the number of Doctor Who anthology books I've read. That is the most 80s background in the history of backgrounds.
Wow.
Yeah,
I mean,
if you actually see the zoomed out BBC version of that Ncuti Gatwa image, the one where Ruby's on it as well, it actually looked even more like the spotty background. Because it's not quite as zoomed in. But yeah, that was an aside, but I do think someone knew something there.
Pyramids of Mars is 75.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the 70s, not the 80s. I did think that. I liked how Ruby and Rose immediately hit it off. I like it when that sort of thing happens.
So did I, but she felt Rose felt very superfluous to this episode.
Yeah.
Yes.
To the point where what does she do? She's basically told us that all she does is deal with shoplifting in an area of London. Yeah, it was pure fan service.
And feels then it might come up with something later, and
the place they referenced is the episode with the mannequins breaking out of the windows of the shop from earlier in the 2005.
Oh, the Autons.
Autons, that's it. Yeah, it's that same place. So she's talking about shoplifting in that place, which got to be a reference to the Autons. Yeah, first episode of 2005. That's what I said. What in the early run of 2005, because I wasn't sure which episode it was. But that's where she basically mentions she's dealing with shoplifting. But when Kate goes, all non-essential personnel get out now. She stays. Like, she's looking after shoplifting in
she also
an area
lives
of London.
with the doctor.
Yeah, but she's certainly not required personnel. She doesn't do anything. She just stands in the background and smiles. Like, it just felt fan servicey and a bit.
Yeah, it felt a bit weird because she doesn't feel significant in, like, she's only been in one episode. So
yeah.
How
if she'd been like shadowing one of the technical people, or like she'd been more of an essential role, basically, if she'd been doing something more technical based, I would have said fair enough, but you know,
I'm tabbed out of the game, so it will have frozen, so I do apologise for the fact that the game was frozen. But here's the thing. I've just realised something, having looked at the transcript of the episode. When everyone is when they're doing all the introductions, they don't acknowledge Harriet's surname.
No, they don't.
Yeah, we know that.
They specifically skipped over. Yes, but I'm making this relevant for people who might not have been following. I'm bringing it up because it does have significance.
Yeah, I actually noticed that at the time. It was a bit strange that everyone was this is such and such with a surname, and then it was Harriet. I was like,
No, it isn't.
But yeah, so she doesn't have a surname, and then it's revealed that her surname is Arbinger. That is significant.
Very. Second time we've had one of those.
I think we're going to get them every time now.
Which is going to be interesting. That also goes interestingly with... There were a lot of very interesting things named in the lead up to the big reveal.
Yes, there were. Hold on. I need to just come out of full screen, so my game's not freezing up. Right, I'm just going to go down to the bottom of the transcript so I can read this out to you. So, there is the Toymaker, the god of games. We met him in the giggle. There is Trickster, the god of traps. Trickster was a recurring villain in the Sarah Jane Adventures.
And prior to that.
Prior to Sarah Jane?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I'm fairly sure Doctor went up against Trickster.
Which Doctor?
That one my brain can't remember.
Because the Trickster was a creation of the Sarah Jane Adventures.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought it was Sarah Jane.
And Trickster's first appearance was in Whatever Happened to Sarah Jane Smith.
Okay.
In Series 1.
Interesting.
I can also tell you the most likely reason that the Trickster has not made an appearance, but we'll get to that in a second. There is Maestro, the god of music. Well, we met Maestro this series.
Yeah.
There is Reprobate, the god of spite.
Don't remember that one.
Yeah, that one went over my head. There is the Mara, the god of beasts.
That's a snake thing from Classic Who.
Based on the Mara's appearance in that episode, the Mara would be better off as the god of dreams. They've gone with the god of beasts because
that is what it is, isn't it? It's the snake thing.
It's the snake thing. There's also the Trickster, god of traps. Not trick.
Which is the Trickster? Yeah, that's a bit weird.
One.
The threefold deity of malice and mischief and misery.
That one's going to be interesting.
No, that one didn't get actually named. I have headcanoned that as the gods of Ragnarok.
Ooh.
Because it's a threefold deity, which... No worries, Turing. Thank you for coming along and joining in.
Thank you. Turing.
Nice.
Doesn't necessarily have to be someone we have met.
No, I know, but for the time being, I have headcanoned it as the gods of Ragnarok, who were a 7th Doctor villain, for people who were wondering. There are gods of skin and shame and secrets. There is Incensor, the god of disaster. I don't think we've met Incensor. And her children called Doubt and Dread. And then we go on to talk about
how... Reason for that statement.
What's that?
Flood's a disaster.
Oh. Yes.
That's assuming Flood is not just an assumed name. That's...
Yes, but it would be an assumed name because it's a disaster.
It could be, but the thing is, I've got a different feeling from Mrs. Flood in the 2nd episode, so... Anyway, go on.
Sorry.
What are the others?
The god of all gods has returned, and his names are many. His name has been Set, and Seth, and Sithifer, and his one true name forevermore is Sutek. Disney Plus apparently has a different third name for the being. No idea why. So I'm assuming that means on Disney Plus it doesn't say Sithifer. It says something else.
Interesting.
Yeah, those sort of things usually happen because the TV studios seem to think that people from the US are incapable of following certain things. It's like you get it a lot in books where things get ripped out and simplified for US publication. It's like a bit strange.
Yeah. Then the most significant thing, we meet Sutek, and who is he voiced by but his original voice actor, who's in his 90s?
Was he?
86, I think.
Gabriel Wolf, yeah. It's the same voice actor. Who I should also add...
He played a demon in another episode, didn't he?
He voiced the Beast in The Impossible Planet and The Satan Pit. Who...
funny enough, his voice must... I don't know why, but I recognised his voice as the Beast from the voice of Sutek, but I didn't recognise the voice of Sutek this time as him.
I recognised him as the Beast immediately. I knew they'd got the same voice actor. Because I'm not as familiar with Sutek, I know Sutek exists, but I'm not especially familiar with him. I just assumed they'd brought the Beast back.
Yeah, which would make total sense because he's meant got a very ominous voice.
The original incarnation of evil from before the universe. So in my mind, it made sense. Though Sutek is not evil, Sutek is good. He just has a mirrored image of what good is.
Well, he's evil from our perspective.
Well, yes. It was more a joke about how a reference to his original episode, where he describes his evil as how our evil is his good.
The one thing I did see someone on Reddit put this one up. The good-looking Colonel guy who's always hanging around Kate and the Doctor.
Colonel Ibrahim.
Ibrahim was also the name of a person in the original 4-parter who died. So I was expecting the Harbinger connection to be him.
Considering that we'd met him a few times, that actually would have been more interesting. Because they introduced the Harbinger character, Harriet. Like, they introduced her and introduced her and revealed her within the same episode. It would have been more interesting to have it be a character we met several episodes ago.
Yeah, and especially someone who is always around the head of the organization, who can basically watch over but isn't actually that involved. Would be a perfect character for that.
No worries, Storm. Thank you for coming along. Yeah, and I mean, you know now that UNIT are going to be so paranoid about people's names.
Yeah.
They're going to be checking every single person's names for every single possible anagram.
What do you mean your name is De F?
What do you mean you have a horse called Binky?
Hold on, I want to just try something.
Do I need to move? Am I about to get shot?
I'm about to run
What do you mean your name is Abby Doug? Aha! Bad guy! I saw it coming! I had to double check that I'd got my anagram right. It's like that's like from Muppets Most Wanted. It's like, here's my card.
Yeah.
Dominic, bad guy. It's Badgie. It's French. Oh, that makes sense.
The Bart, the.
That's fine. That's the Bart the. No one who speaks German could be a villain.
That'd be normal.
That's the next line in the episode.
But it just sounds like you being a bit of a beep.
Thanks.
Self-censored.
Anyway. Yeah, so we got this reveal that it was this major like reveal, and it was just a random one story villain from the Fourth Doctor's era. Which I have to, I was not expecting.
Which, by the way, he did specifically say in, I don't know if it was very early on or before even season 1 or the new season 1. He specifically said there was no returning villains. So he just outright lied on this one.
It
wasn't a misdirection, it was just a lie.
Because I was under the impression that Daleks were required to make an appearance to keep the rights. Because the Termination Estate
it might not need. It might literally all it needs is a name drop or something.
Well, yeah, I suppose they did get name dropped in the final episode, didn't they?
It also depends what the new contracts are, because I imagine with all the Disney stuff going on, there's been new contracts drawn up.
True. Though I know the Nation Estate is quite protective, shall we say? It took a lot of. They very nearly didn't give the rights over for the Dalek, like the first Dalek episode. So.
Well, they definitely mentioned Daleks in the last episode.
Well, yeah, they mentioned them in the last episode. Yeah, they mentioned Skaro. So. We have kind of talked about one episode for an hour, and then as we've approached the 1 hour mark, we've finished that episode, but we've still got another 12 minutes.
Kind of mind that episode really, because there wasn't. It was a lot of setup and.
Yeah.
I don't know what's the pointing at the Doctor thing. The fact the Doctor said went in the time window, it's changing my memory.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
Yeah. Well, I think we might have to talk more about the time window stuff in the next episode, though, because that's where it really explains a lot of it, and some of it I'm not happy about, I will admit.
Yeah, well, the fact that we've all come out with 4 suggests that we're on the same page.
Yeah. I did like in that episode the whole it's snowing. I'll tell you what's ridiculous about this. We haven't even switched it on element.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What did the US do when they got some rights to Doctor Who?
I assume it's a reference to the film.
Was that the US producer?
It was a US produced film. I think it was Fox, but I'm not certain on that. Yeah, the 96 movie was a US production.
Eighth Doctor.
I knew it wasn't great, but I didn't know it was US produced. That, to be fair, in hindsight, that could have been worse. I think that has actually aged weirdly well. That
film is certainly more popular now than when it released. It was... I think it panned critically, and it was very divisive amongst fans, because in the episode the Doctor declares himself to be half human. Which people did not like. That was actually parodied in the Series 1 finale with Chris Eccleston and Rose Tyler. The Doctor refers to the Daleks as half human. And the Daleks all start screaming about how that's blasphemy.
Yeah.
And it's because he's parodying the whole, the Doctor's half human, that's blasphemy. Mythical reckons it should have been 3 episodes instead of 2.
I don't know, with what they did with it, I would have been annoying for 3 episodes, but I think if it had been more nuanced and better written, it would have been better as 3.
Yeah, I think if they hadn't,
but it would have been a
rushed
completely
the
different
second,
episode then.
If they hadn't rushed the second episode, then they probably could have stretched it out to 3. But
I think if
to be fair, the whole season felt a bit rushed.
Yeah, but there was only 8 episodes, which I don't understand.
It's because that's all the time that Ncuti had to actually record on the advanced recording they wanted to do, because he was still recording. He was doing something on the West End and still doing sex education.
Was he doing cabaret by any chance?
Possibly, I don't know.
He strikes me as a good MC.
Yeah. True. But I don't know what he was doing, but I know he would. That's why we got so many Dr. Light episodes. Why effectively we got, like, Dot and Bubble is somehow managed to be Doctor and Companion Light. That's why it filmed the way it was.
It was not cabaret.
One thing I did find, one thing that crossed my mind was, and this actually came from going back and rewatching Pyramids of Mars. Pyramids of Mars as a single storyline was 4 episodes, but those episodes were 25 minutes apiece. So a 2-parter modern is the equivalent of an old school full-length Doctor Who storyline.
Yep.
But also the pacing is completely different in the modern ones. If anything, it's even faster. It's even less than that.
Having watched the entirety of 7 and 8's season together, those episodes they feel longer than they are.
They do.
The pacing is so different. They feel a lot longer than they actually are, which in some cases works really well. I'm blanking. Remembrance of the Daleks is a really good episode. In other cases, my friend and I, who I was watching it with, TARDIS Blue, who hasn't been in chat for a while but has appeared occasionally, we basically blanked Silver Nemesis and Ghostlight in favour of playing chess. We had to keep going back and rewinding because we'd missed plot points.
Yeah.
Mythical's message. That is what I meant. The second episode should have been 2 and had a bit more to it. Just felt like it was rushed and just how stuff came together. It being a big bad, I feel like they shouldn't have tried something, but then it didn't work. But it gave the idea of how to stop him instead, and that how they came up with the idea. Yeah, so a bit more build up to the final showdown, so to speak.
And to be honest, they could have. I know we're getting into the second episode discussion.
It's fine.
They could have. They could have dumped the last 10 minutes and left that as an open plot line.
Yeah, I don't understand why the episode was 55 minutes long. It didn't need to be.
I felt it kind of almost wasted those last 10 minutes by totally dropping the ball.
Yeah, it was
I have a feeling
different...
that the writing for season 2 wasn't complete when they filmed that, because I think they were trying to give Ruby a proper final send-off, and then somehow after that decided, oh well, she's actually going to come back a bit, because it felt like they were doing a final farewell, but we know she's going to be back.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it's something daft like that.
Yeah, right. It's a couple of minutes early, but for one, I've been stalling slightly in the hopes that Screwing might be able to get back in time for us to talk with him about the final episode. And also, my ads will be coming, so I'm going to take my break, and then we can come back and talk about the finale. Sound good?
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
You folks should all take a break as well, just a few minutes away from your screens. Get a stretch. Not get a stretch, get a drink. Get a stretch, get a drink. And I will see you folks all shortly. Welcome back, everyone. Pax has made themselves a nice stand. I have no words. So I have been asked
Honestly, you should have gone the full B-dubs route.
If I'd known the break was going to be that long, I would have done.
I'm sorry.
I thought I only had a couple of minutes.
I'm sorry. I'll try and warn you.
Yeah, I thought we turned this into a B-dubs one.
I've been asked to be a bit quieter for this half of stream because my mum's gone to bed. Well, she's gone to bed, but is still awake at the moment. But because it's so warm, they've got their bedroom door open, so I need to try and be a bit quieter, which is not very easy when it comes to me and Doctor Who.
You'll have to whisper about all the things you're so annoyed about.
Aldi, thank you for the 30 bits for the giant heart emoji. That
was kind of covered in the episode, Mythical.
Yeah, that was covered in the episode. We'll get to that. So, the Empire of Death. Oh, sorry, it's not the Empire of Death. It's just Empire of Death. Now, we all rated this a 4. We all were. I think we were all very excited for this episode when we finished Legend of Ruby Road, not Ruby Road, Ruby Sunday, and then we got to this episode. We watched it, and
it fell apart.
Yeah, it just did
2/3 of the way through.
Yeah, I don't think it even lasted that long.
Wow. I actually liked the first half of the second episode.
So the very first scene of that episode, we've had Sutek, the God of Death, return. He's got his Harbinger in the form of Screwy's given it a 7. We met Harbinger, the Harbinger of Sutek, and Susan Triad was also revealed. All the Susan Triads throughout Doctor Who have been revealed to be angels of death, as Sutek calls them. And they unleash Sutek's gift of death upon the Earth and the rest of the universe. And within the first few minutes, we see Susan Triad kill basically everyone in the film studio she's in, and then start unleashing it on London. And we see Sutek kill Kate Stewart, Colonel Ibrahim, the Vlinks, which I thought was a nice touch, reminding us that technically he is still alive, even if he looks like a robot. One second. Sorry, I had a sudden cough come over me. I didn't want to get that on stream. Rose Noble Temple. Morris, whose surname escapes, Morris Gibbons. And basically everyone in that room dies. And at that moment, I'm just like, this is a reset button episode.
Yeah.
I
can forgive those sometimes.
Sometimes I can, but for an episode like this, I wanted there to be an impact.
This is exactly my point, Hunter. The reason that I didn't like this as a reset episode is because there was no consequence. It was a zero consequence reset episode. Like, even the guy from the time window, whose name we apparently can't remember, came back. It was like a full reset, and it doesn't even have to be like a negative effect. One of the things I was thinking of is, imagine the reset button, because Sutek has been attached to the TARDIS that long, it actually reset things from the flux and stuff like that. Like, if it had some sort of consequence to the universe, it would have made any impact, but instead it felt to me like it made zero.
Yeah. I've just double-checked the transcript. It's Colonel Chidozi.
Chidozi.
Colonel Winston Chidozi.
Winston?
That was his name. Yeah, it just... Oh, Oh,
you're getting a raid.
Yes, I am. Sunraven16, thank you for the raid. Thank you for bringing in your viewers. This is unexpected. Welcome in, raiders. Hold on, I need to get names. Yes, thank you for the shout out. I don't know who gave the shout out, but thank you, whoever gave the shout out. Welcome in. I'm sorry, I'm very bad at pronouncing names, so if I butcher any names, please correct me. Lutiol, Ola the Polar, I know you. Millionaires, Sunraven yourself, at Miss Sea Monster. Has it? It didn't sound like it had. It sounded fine to me. Did the wolf howl sound okay to you?
You're talking to us,
Yeah, I'm talking to you guys.
I've got stream off by way of.
Oh, of course you do. Of course you do. Yeah, the wolf sounded okay to me. But strange that it sounded weird to you, Storm. Yeah, sometimes my sound alerts, Sunraven, they sound a bit, like they've got a bad cold. Nailed your name. Good. Yes, the Raiders howl is different to the subscription howl. Yes, Sunraven, I think I need to rebuild my OBS stuff. Minipax has offered to help me with that. I'm just waiting for when I've got free time to do it. But thank you for coming in. What were you up to? What were you playing? I'm guessing probably Minecraft. It's generally Minecraft raids Minecraft. And there's the subscription howl. Thank you, Elcon, for the 26-month resub. Right. My name is Hunter555. You folks can all call me Hunter. We're on Infinity... What have I just... There we go. We're on Infinity Cove, which is the patron server of Joel Duggan, who is one half of the Spawn Chunks podcast and a streamer in his own right. We're not actually working on anything today. I am, as my community is very aware, a massive fan of Doctor Who. And Doctor Who has recently wrapped up its latest season. So what we've been doing the Monday following each episode, roughly, is we've been talking about it. We've just been talking about the episodes, our thoughts on the episodes, how we felt about it, our thoughts and prayers. Sorry, I had to get that in there. Yes, there are a lot of spoilers. If you're a Doctor Who fan, there are a lot of spoilers. We can't talk about it without discussing spoilers. So if you haven't seen the final 2 episodes, you may want to come back another time. Ola the Polar nearly needs sleep. Heading out. No worries, Ola. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for coming in with the raid. I do love that you guys keep coming in. Sunraven, you have not. Oh no. I mean, it depends how much you need to raid and run anyway. No worries. Yeah, you take care of yourself. Thank you for bringing your folks in. And Xpol, thank you for gifting that sub to Sunraven. And I've already forgotten how I pronounce the name. Millionaires, I think it was. Millionaires.
Sounds right.
No worries, Elcon. Thank you for the lurk. Thank you, Sunraven. Yeah, you take care of yourself. Enjoy your lurk. Yes, Minipax built this for me during the break. It's me. You can call me Millie. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Millie. Yes, so we've talked about The Legend of Ruby Sunday already, which we rated fairly decent. I'd say we rated it around 7-8 out of 10. We're now talking about the Empire of Death, which we all rated a 4. We did not think the finale episode was very good. Anonymous, thank you for gifting that sub to Mindtrip Media, which has caused a hype train. I can't imagine who could have caused that, Exapol.
I wonder who did that one.
And we've skipped level 1 and gone straight to level 2. Five Eyes Streams, the late raid. Thank you, Five Eyes. Welcome on in. Exapol gifted 10 subs to the community, completing level 2. Subs going out too. I need to actually look at this. Bohikas, Five Eyes Stream, The Firewolf, Hank Games, Lark2Bird, Grandpa Crafter, Jenamu, Agro Ninja, Lutiel and Miss Sea Monster. I think Just about everyone who came in with the raid just got gifted a...
Like how
That's impressive.
Five Eyes just wandered in and got subbed instantly.
Please, if you just got gifted a sub, please make sure that you thank Exipol. And that also gives you access to first it gives you my my lovely sub badges, and it also gives you access to my wonderful emotes. Thank you to my wonderful artist for making all of those. Thank you, Minipax. It also gives you access to the Hunter Subs channel in the Finite in Discord server that I share with Minipax and Elkhorn, who was just briefly in chat. Imagine watching a stream without being subbed. Thank you for the 300 bits, Ginger. And 300 butt bits. Yes. You got... Oh, Five Eyes was subscribed before they were following. Thank you for the follow, Five Eyes, and thank you for the follows, Millie, and I think I missed another follow. Hold on, I can't see one, but no. I mean, technically I did miss one, but I'm ignoring it because it was a brand new account, so I have a suspicion it was not a... Apparently I have the wrong redeems turned on.
I want you to change your weapon.
I've got the wrong redeems turned on. I forgot about those. I need to change that. I'm changing that now before other people get too excited with them, because I know what people are like. There we go. Thank you for doing that, Pax. Okay, Pax, I will randomise my weapon at the start of the next Hades stream. Okay?
Well, you can do it in Minecraft if you want. Just go and get a random weapon out of a chest. Stand there with the gold axe.
Or a stick.
Yeah, or a stick. Stick would work.
Stick.
There we go. Weapon randomized.
Yep. Right, yes, Empire of Death. So, yeah, it was very much a reset episode. You're in get out of creative mode!
No. I was doing admin when you all joined.
Yes, the stick of discipline. This is what happens when I discipline someone.
Did you come up behind me and hit me and it didn't work or something?
Yes.
Yes.
That's how
You knew I secretly
Yes.
I mustn't have my game sounds on or something because I didn't hear it at all.
Stick fight the warden. Well, with this stick of discipline, that's slightly more doable because this is a retextured wooden sword,
stick.
and it's a very OP wooden sword. The only problem would likely be the sword breaking.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
Does
yeah,
it have mending on it?
Yes. So in theory, I could repair it because of the skulk.
Yeah, you just have to take some bottles with you, run away, and
it'd be a lot easier to repair than another right sword, that's for sure.
True.
Anyway. Back on track, which is unusual for my streams, I know. Which is impressive considering I built a train. But, yeah, it was very obvious.
You put the trains on anvils, not on tracks anyways.
Yes. Mythical's not happy that I've got the stick and she doesn't.
They asked first.
Yeah, I did ask first. I liked the fact that Mel went with them. Exipol gifting a tier 1 sub to Rightcross, which has pushed us over the edge of level 3 and into level 4. Thank you, Exipol. Yes, I like the fact that Mel went with them. Like, Mel survived back to the TARDIS, and it was Mel, Ruby, and the Doctor. Though I did note that the Doctor sent the unit soldier away. Because there was a unit...
So before we actually got to that bit, what did you think about the memory TARDIS?
I liked it. Thank you for the 50 bits for the on-screen celebration. Now, there is a reason I liked it, because I may be wrong, but I'm fairly certain it is a set they've used already.
I'm not 100% certain because I've
felt like a callback. It's new, but for this one.
Well, it's been memory TARDISes have been mentioned before. I know that for a fact, and it kind of felt like they were trying to hook on to the idea of those episodes they did with old Doctors and Companions.
That's what I thought it was. I thought it was a reused set.
Yeah,
I thought it was a reused set from that.
I think it was that they were calling on, and I thought that was a pretty cool way to hook in.
Yeah, I thought that was what they just reused the set intentionally. I haven't got round to them, Screwy. I know what you've tried to say there, but I didn't get round to watching them. But yeah, I had a feeling that's what they were going for. I liked the added touch of Mel finding the Sixth Doctor's stuff in the TARDIS.
Yeah.
I also like the fact that a fan pointed out that, it's composed of the memories of the companion, the memories of the TARDIS from the companions, which is why it caught fire.
Yeah.
Considering the TARDIS is not exactly a comfortable ride normally.
Yep. Can't remember what we were on before I interrupted with that bit. Gotta admit.
I was talking about the fact that the Doctor sent the unit soldier away before they went in the TARDIS.
Oh, yeah. Well, there wasn't much room in there.
There wasn't, though. In fairness, the Doctor didn't know that. And also, the Doctor's basically told that...
He ran in there before everyone else did? Or had he already sent the guy away?
He walked into the time window and immediately sent the soldier to one of the bunkers. And I'm just thinking, Doctor, you know full well that bunker's not going to protect that soldier. You've basically just said, go and die somewhere else.
Yeah, though that feels about right for the Doctor. He's a bit picky about who he lets in.
I suppose, and the soldier was armed.
Have we ever actually, it's been suggested in several episodes that he rescues people in it. But have we ever actually seen him, pile people into the TARDIS to rescue them? Other than, other companions and...
Vesuvius.
Yeah, he saved one family. He's never used it as a proper lifeboat, though.
It wasn't like because he suggests in Dot and Bubble that he's gonna they can all get in and he'll take them somewhere. I don't think we've ever seen him rescue a civilization or anything.
It's been implied as happening off screen, but I think it's just too many extras or one-time cast.
But they've already got the set and everything. It would be pretty cool for them to do it.
Storm says towing the Earth, but that was all companions.
Yeah, that was just lots of
The Doctor offers to save Davros, but Davros refuses him.
Yeah. Anyway.
But yes, so I liked the bit where the Doctor meets that woman on the dead planet. I liked the idea that Sutekh didn't quite kill everyone. There were a few survivors, but it's clearly still impacting them.
Well,
and then she does.
From what was said in that bit, it wasn't so much that it was survivors. They were just the last people clinging on because the death was happening from child to parents up the history line. So she was basically the newest parent left.
Yeah.
She was obviously the last person who'd had a kid or something like that. Was the way I took that.
Yeah, which was weird though, because the sand in the opening scene did not seem particularly discriminatory in that regard. It just killed everyone it touched.
No, but there was two things going on. There was one, the sands of time hits everyone where there's a Susan twist.
Yeah.
And then through the rest of time, it percolates up. So everywhere the Doctor's been, the sands have spread out from the moment he was there. And then through the rest of time, it's basically dissolving people away. Until it gets to modern day. Is again, the way I took it, it's Doctor Who. Someone else might have taken a different thing from that. But...
Thank you for the level 4, 6% of level 4 hype train. I actually got an emote from that.
Ooh. Have they changed them slightly?
I think I didn't change the timer. I don't think I updated the timer. Whoops. Yeah, and you see it's impacting Mel more than Ruby, though. Even though Mel's older, so by that logic,
well,
it should affect Ruby more.
Again, they mentioned that Sutek wanted to know what was going on with Ruby and hadn't either hadn't attacked her or couldn't figure out how to. Yeah. I wasn't really sure about that one.
Yeah, but Mel was not. I saw, like, I did like when they go to 2040. First, I liked the nod to 73 yards that
yeah.
I nearly said Millie. I'm thinking of the actress there. Ruby remembers it, but doesn't know why she she can remember bits and pieces, but she doesn't know why. Which we got a nod towards in the episode.
Well, even right at the end of that episode, we got a nod, didn't we? When she's like, "I've been here 3 times."
Yeah, and we get that.
And then and there was another reference somewhere. I can't remember. Oh, the Susan Twist. I've seen her somewhere before.
Yeah,
was the other one.
But then we go to 2044 or whatever year it was, and they go and access the records, and Mel offers to go on watch, and the Doctor holds her hand as she goes, and I just watched him and just yeah, he's taking her pulse, which is not what he did. He was checking her temperature, but still,
yeah,
I knew he was checking her.
Same difference storyline wise.
Yeah, he clocked that she was struggling, and he'd yeah, she's gone. She's been possessed by Sutek to locate them.
Talking of Sutek, when he's interacting with Sutek in that episode, and Sutek's messing with the TARDIS and turning it around and messing with it, I did like the effects on that weird dog thing in those bits.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good. I liked Sutek rubbing it in the Doctor's face that he'd taken control of the TARDIS. I do like it, because the Doctor's villains, the ones that can take control of the TARDIS, know how important the TARDIS is to him, so they love to gloat about it. What? Final battle. Thoughts?
For a start, putting a lead on a dog character and taking it for a walk through the time streams, I found to be a particularly weak joke. Why did him bumping up against the time vortex fix everything?
Yeah, I can forgive the edges of the time vortex damaging even Sutek, because time is...
Oh, I don't have a problem with him being damaged by it. Yeah. I just don't understand how that resets things.
Yeah, no, I didn't follow that.
I've got nothing good to say about this bit, so I feel a bit bad waffling about it.
No, it's fine. I'm looking over at Scotsman every now and again, just in case Scotsman has anything to add, because Scotsman's being quite quiet. And I want to make sure he gets
honestly, by that point, it really had just lost it for me. And I couldn't even work out what the heck the blue light thing was. Was that supposed to be the heart of the TARDIS, or what?
I think that's what that was meant to be. The Doctor blowing the whistle and basically saying, TARDIS, basically saying to the TARDIS, "Come on, girl, we've got work to do."
Yeah.
And the TARDIS
I wouldn't be surprised.
Her pilot.
I wouldn't be surprised. I can't think of the reference, but I wouldn't be surprised to find that the whistle was a reference to something to do with the TARDIS, but I'm not sure. That would kind of make sense, the way he went, "Oh, love a good whistle," and then he uses that later.
Yeah.
But I
Chekhov's
don't know
whistle.
The reference if it is. Yeah. Basically.
Yeah, the TARDIS appeared to produce an energy cannon at first. I thought it was a laser gun at first, and then it seemed to be more just a jet engine kind of thing. Which made more sense.
It was roughly in the place where the heart of the TARDIS was.
Well, yes,
when
I
Rose
thought that's what it was
apart.
at first. I thought it was just the TARDIS basically opening itself at the Doctor's command to burn away Sutek's influence from inside it.
Yeah. I think it is basically him using his connection to the being that is the TARDIS to basically rally back effectively. He's just calling one of his friends for all intents and purposes. It's being the TARDIS as a machine is being used for nefarious purposes, but that doesn't mean the being of the TARDIS has gone over to Sutekh.
It does help to have a sentient spaceship.
It does.
I do, and
he's done so many weird things with the TARDIS, of using the TARDIS for control anyway through the years, that
I have to admit, I do really, really enjoy those moments of sentience.
I like the TARDIS world building.
Yeah. Even like I enjoyed the episode written by Neil Gaiman, Doctor's wife.
And that's what the memory TARDIS felt like a callback to.
Yes, it did seem a bit like it give me vibes of the junkyard TARDIS that the Doctor built in that episode. Though I don't know if that's specifically what they were going for, but
I think there probably was supposed to be feelings of it by the cluttered sort of madness in there,
but I was overall disappointed with the episode because it was just reset, and then we had this final triumph.
I was going to say we should probably cover Mythical's comment first.
Oh,
before we go into the bit.
Sorry, let me just get it back on screen. There was a hype train in the
Mythical was commenting, why didn't we get multiple Susans?
Oh,
and
yes.
The episode, they commented it was actually every time he landed back on Earth, it reinforced Susan, so that she became effectively Susan Prime.
So,
which I thought was an interesting and solid way of doing it.
It was a good way of doing it, but now you say that, I think they did make a point. They said that the sand is spreading in every time period he's landed on. So they kind of did it both ways at the same time. They said she became powerful. She became more powerful, but also every time period he landed on Earth got their own time spread, like sand spread.
Yeah, well, it's things like he's landed in 1963 more times than I can count. But I suspect what it is if there is a Susan Triad alive already, she gets a boost. If there is not one alive in that area, one is created.
Yeah.
So, in the case of the Susan Triad we encounter on Earth, the old lady, she probably basically got the power. The reason we interact with her so much is because she's the most powerful. Because she has been getting the boost every single time the Doctor has landed between her creation and that moment. Is that a thunderstorm?
And more specifically, he keeps coming back to current era.
Yeah.
That was not a storm. The earlier one was.
He specifically mentions that the sand is spreading in every time he's been in, because he mentions 2005, for example, and he says that with sort of, he's obviously thinking about that era when he was saying it.
Yeah.
What was the third date that he mentioned? I'm trying to remember, because he said 2005 now and another one.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was 63, but because he's been to 1963 a lot. I'm trying to think, what else haven't we covered yet before we get to the end?
We haven't covered any of the.
Oh yeah, 1066. That was another one he did mention, which that struck me as
He has been to 1066. But
there wasn't. I don't think there was anything huge there, was there?
Actually, thinking about it, the episode we've seen in 1066 is First Doctor.
Oh, was it?
So it's before we met Sutekh. Yeah, because it's the episode that introduces. It's the episode that features the meddling monk. Who is another renegade Time Lord.
We haven't mentioned any of the Ruby stuff at the end.
Yes, we have been avoiding that. So Ruby finds out who her mother is, but doesn't understand it and doesn't say it. Doesn't actually acknowledge, reveal anything. Just doesn't understand. She just keeps saying, "I don't understand." And she makes a play to reveal it to Sutekh, and then smashes it, and then there's the whole big final battle. And then...
So I did actually like that moment with her, because that's the first time in this season, like while she's been a companion, that she's really she's had that companion moment where she's like does something awesome. Like the companions usually have moments like that, and I don't think she's had one at all this season.
Not to that extent. There's a moment it's a Christmas special episode. It's the Time of the Doctor. It's the episode where Matt Smith regenerates, and the Daleks try to use threaten Clara's life to get the Doctor to comply, and Clara's just like, "You're gonna kill me anyway." Like, what? Like, you're not. Don't follow. Like, don't listen to them, Doctor. They're going to kill me regardless. There's no point in doing what they say to protect me, because they will kill me anyway. And then the Doctor latches onto that and uses that to snap the Dalek slave that is holding a prisoner out of the brainwashing. And that's a really cool moment, because as much as I have mixed feelings about Clara as a companion, she certainly has moments where she demonstrates like she is deserving of being a companion.
Yeah, well, certainly in the 2005 onwards era, all the companions pretty much have those cool moments where they sort of show their own. I just feel like she didn't until this episode, and that's the only one she got.
Yeah. I mean, it's only episode 8, so if that had been a normal season, 13 episodes, then we'd only be halfway through. So
they sort of tried it with 73 yards.
They did,
but that one sort of missed a little bit at the very end. Although I did like that episode.
Yeah, it didn't. I don't know. It didn't. I liked the episode, but it didn't play as a awesome companion moment. Apart from anything else, she hadn't seen the Doctor at that point for like 20 odd years. So.
And any character development in that episode was erased by the reset of the time, like the timeline.
True.
So I wouldn't necessarily count it as a defining moment, because it got undone. But then the Doctor reveals who Ruby's mother is, and it's just a random woman. And sorry, go on.
What's your take on it? Why do you have an issue with the way this was done?
So, sorry, I need to actually think. I haven't actually considered how I'm going to put this into words. So, it's just a random woman, and Ruby expresses her, I guess, surprise that it was just a random person, not anyone significant, because of like all the stuff that's been going on. And the Doctor explains that it's like we made it important, like we basically made our own rules, our subconscious, because like the time window was using their memories. They were expecting her to be someone mysterious and someone they like couldn't identify, so they couldn't identify her. Which also calls back to 73 Yards and how Kate Stewart says we often create the rules for these things ourselves, when Ruby explains that she won't get on a boat or a plane to test what happens if she tries to go further away, to test if the old woman can't follow her. But it doesn't... For one, it doesn't feel satisfying because they've built her up as this big mysterious figure throughout the entire season, which I get what they were trying. They were trying to do a bait and switch, but also it does not explain the snow. I can accept everything else.
And the music.
And the music. The snow and the music. Those two things don't add up. Everything else, including the behaviour in the time window, I can forgive. But the music and the snow do not make sense if Ruby is just a random child who was born to a scared teen mum who didn't know what to do.
Way too much sort of power coming from somewhere.
Yeah. And like it could be chalked up to the presence of Sutek in that moment, because the Doctor landed, of course. but I'm not convinced that that's the case.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, I don't have a problem with the fact that her mother was just a random person. In fact, I like that idea.
Yeah, that idea on its own, it would have been fine.
Yeah, but they were way too heavy-handed. Like, why is it that she's got music coming out of her soul that can stop a god? Why does it snow everywhere she goes? Like, everything that's going on around Ruby is way too mysterious and powerful. Why is it able to change the Doctor's memory? Like, why are her memories so powerful she can summon a TARDIS? Like, there's so many things going on that shows, like Scotsman said, that there's too. Well, I think it was Scotsman said there's too much power. There was way too much going on for it to be like, oh, well, you just happened to be in the right place at the right time. It just didn't. It lost it for me completely.
So Mythical's mentioned a couple of things. One is, what if it was Sutek that made 73 yards to try and find out more about Ruby? I still like it wasn't the Fairy Circle that did that timeline, it was the TARDIS or / Sutek. Which would explain
I would prefer that explanation.
Yeah.
But that's a classic Doctor Who headcanon thing. Like, I don't think they'll ever explain that.
Yeah. The other thing
I like that explanation, but
the TARDIS made that time so Ruby would know later on down the line to defeat Sutek later on by knowing about the DNA test stuff. So basically the TARDIS put Ruby in a situation where she'd have to meet Roger Ap William to know about the DNA test stuff. The only flaw with that is it's the Doctor who brings that up.
Yeah, I was going to say the Doctor knows about that, not Ruby.
Yeah. Ruby doesn't remember that. Like, I think there's like a flicker of recognition with the name, but
it would have made more sense for like, if they were going to play on that, for the Ruby to have confused memories and be like, well, hang on, I know this, and the Doctor would be like, why would you know that? And she's like, I don't know. That would have been an interesting play. That would have been them talking to Wars, basically going, haha, you know about 73 yards, but she doesn't.
Yeah, that would have been interesting.
But they didn't use it. They just gave all the lines to the Doctor.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and
I like that idea, but.
And they'd been through the whole sort of, equally, yes, it goes back to 73 yards again. She had clearly some sort of power to project backwards. Where the heck did that come from? There's way too much power in her as a person through too many events. It was very much Donna Noble-esque, almost.
Even they could have done something along the lines of, like, this would probably be a bit lazy as well, but something along the lines of saying, Sutek put power into her to try and solve this mystery because, if they'd done just something to give her that power, something had happened in, I don't know, something had happened in the TARDIS that had given her power, something in a timeline had given her power. They'd done something about that day. Like, it only needed something to apply to her, but they didn't do any of it. They were just like, oh, you were just in the right place at the right time. Like, meh.
And then there's the whole...
I'd even have expected that during the final battle, maybe she falls into the timeline with Sutek. Yeah, that's very Clara-ish, but and then gets pulled back out by the rope. Yeah. So that it was only a brief interlude into the timeline, sort of thing.
But it's enough.
Yeah.
The other thing was the fact that Ruby's mother points at that road sign to name her. What?
Yeah, that
makes no sense. Why would she do that? There's no one there.
If you didn't know that was filmed, if that had been filmed across 2 seasons, I'd have sworn that was one director trying to retcon another director.
Yeah.
If I'd seen that, and then if that hadn't been 2 episodes from the same director filmed at the same time,
that was.
I would have sworn they were different.
Because that's just because she points directly at the Doctor / the TARDIS / Sutek. Ruby memories of a photo of that guy on the screen, but she didn't know who it was. But the Doctor did know who it was. I assume she's referring to. I assume Mythical's referring to Roger Ap William.
I think that was Roger Appleby, yeah.
Does she?
Yeah, well, she the thing is that when they stepped out of the TARDIS before the fairy ring in 73 yards, he mentions Ap Gwilliam, and then says, and then mentions, you shouldn't know about that yet. So she had heard the name even outside of 73 yards. So she would recognize the name if she was paying attention. Yeah, I don't know. It's such a shame because as a whole, I rated most of the season fairly highly. And then it was very much let down at the end. I have complaints about the season as a whole, but yeah, that's out of the scope of what we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
So we haven't quite got to the end of the episode.
So the end of the episode is, of course, when we meet Ruby's mother.
Yeah, that felt really tacked on.
It was very much tacked on to the end. I liked the moment where the Doctor and Ruby are stood outside. They're looking at her. They're talking about her. I don't think
if they'd done it in a different order and they'd stopped it as she walks off to walk inside, and they'd left it there, I wouldn't have had a problem with it.
Heck, I'd have accepted them just seeing her visit and then just stopping there.
Yeah, I could have forgiven them. But I think I could have been happy with them with her going in and saying, "I'm Ruby. I was named after a road after I was left." Basically introducing herself, explaining who she was. They both break down in tears. She starts her mum starts apologising. They hug. Roll credits. That I would have been quite happy with that ending. Nice, emotional, heartwarming ending.
This might be me being a bit too cynical because of family matters in my own life, but that felt way too easy, that whole thing, to me.
Well, particularly given the whole sort of hiding the kid, giving it up, and then they're already talking about meeting the father as well.
It's not made very clear how much time has passed there, but because her mum seems to have just immediately become a member of the family with Cherry and.
Well, it still must be fairly new because they're looking at photo albums
Carla.
And talking about memories. Yeah, Carla. Yeah, I could have done without that end thing, and as someone who has had situations in their family, not massively dissimilar to that, obviously less timeline messing, but it felt way too easy to me. It felt I don't know. I can't quite put that into words, but it just easy.
It felt forced for TV.
Yeah. It felt like they were just trying to write it gone. They just wanted that whole storyline gone, so you've got a visitor wandering up on you under.
Oh, hello. Would anyone like any mini blocks?
Yeah, yes, way too romance novel, that Hallmark. That's the kind of feeling it felt like.
I love the fact that I just had a wandering trader yeeted straight at me.
Surprise!
My inventory's full. Continue.
Oh, well, that I was pretty much at the end of that.
Yeah, you okay? Repeat, because I was busy.
I was just agreeing with what Storm said, that it felt way too much romance novel or Hallmark.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Kind of felt like her mum didn't even know about the road name as well till she said about the church part. Yeah.
Yeah, that could just be awkward acting.
Yeah.
And
I see why you'd take that.
Why was her mum in that outfit to give up? I mean, that's not even a good outfit for hiding.
That outfit, I suspect, was chosen because a lot of people thought it looked like Jodie Whittaker's hooded coat in the reveal that she was playing the next Doctor trailer. I think that's why that outfit was chosen. not for any other reason, just because it like inspired that.
Why would anyone pick that? If they were going to give up a baby, sort of thing.
Yeah, the whole cloak thing, like, she was supposed to be 15. I don't know many 15-year-olds that have giant, billowy overhead cloaks that look like something out of a 1800s
they look like the Trickster's
highwayman novel.
Well,
I think that's what they were trying to make people think.
Yeah,
it did look very
It was
Trickster.
an old version of the Doctor, it was the Trickster, and it turned out to be a 15-year-old girl.
Yes, Storm.
Me too.
So yeah, it was a bit of a disappointing ending. And then of course Ruby stays behind.
Oh yeah, go on. I forgot that bit.
Yeah, Ruby stays behind as the Doctor goes off, and we get the whole Doctor Who will return.
Well, we don't. We get Mrs. Flood first.
Oh yeah, no, we do get the Mrs. Flood scene, where she's like.
So regarding Ruby's parting, I reiterate what I said before. It felt like they wrote this thinking she wasn't coming back.
Yeah.
It's why I feel like they did all of that, and then it feels weird because we know. It's the problem with it being so far ahead of the filming. Like, we know she's back.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Mrs. Flood, which is an interesting bit.
Yeah, Mrs. Flood on the roof when it's snowing, in all white, including a white umbrella.
White?
Declaring that, like, Ruby's life is going to be perfectly fine, I think. And the Doctor's is going to be a lot more tragic. I don't remember the exact wording she used.
Yeah. I liked that. It was a good tease. I was a bit upset that we didn't find it out this season, what was going on, but it makes total sense.
Here we go. And that's how the story of the Church on Ruby Road comes to an end, with a very happy ending for little Ruby Sunday. But life goes on, doesn't it? Ruthlessly. And what happens, you might wonder? Oh, what happens to that mysterious traveller in time and space known as the Doctor? I'm sorry to say his story ends in absolute terror.
Yeah.
She felt an awful lot, or the outfit and all of that at the very end. It felt a heck of a lot sort of White Witch. Where's Aslan?
It did, but I think that's because the outfit.
Yeah, but that's what I kind of mean.
So you know when she's on the bed and she unsnaps back into reality and she's with Cherry on the bed.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, "Oh," something along the lines of, "Oh, that wonderful boy," or something. It made me think that she's not necessarily the nefarious character I thought she was. I think she's going to end up to be something more either neutral or positive.
The White Guardian?
Maybe?
We've already encountered a different Fourth Doctor entity. Why not the White Guardian? Why not the White Guardian?
True.
Like,
yeah.
It's not it's not a complete stretch, and the White Guardian is gonna be a
except for the line that she says just as they're vanishing.
Oh yeah. What is it? It's like
I had so many plans. I had so many goals. Something like that.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean she's bad or anything. That just means that she was planning things. But I don't know.
Yeah. Do you believe in the power of prayer? I most certainly do. Then tell your Maker I will come to storm down his gates of gold and seize his kingdom in my true name. Cherry questions it. I'm sorry, you tiny little woman. I'm so sorry it ends like this. I had such plans.
See, that again feels like she at least thinks she's a good character, whether she is or not, another matter.
Yeah.
But, like she that's not like mustache twirling comments. That's like she is at least sorry that the things are ending that way.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be God on God wars.
But it could be that the certainly that comment about tell your Maker, blah blah blah, certainly sounds like God talk. But
Yeah, well, she's just asked if she believes in the power of prayer, so I suspect that that's basically finding something that will will help Cherry somewhat.
Yeah.
Right. I don't want to do this, but it's just gone 11 o'clock here. My shift has been changed tomorrow, so I'm starting an hour early. So I do need to wrap this up.
Okay. Well, we're at the end anyway.
Yep. So.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.
And there's no twist this time.
Yeah, there is no twist this time. Just Doctor Who will return, and it's almost certainly going to... Go ahead.
There's no twist at the end.
That's right. There isn't a twist at the end. There isn't always a twist at the end. Yeah, the Doctor Who will return, I assume, Christmas Day. It will be a few days later before we talk about it, if we decide to discuss it on stream. I don't know if we want to continue doing this now, going forwards.
It's been fun.
Pax is mysterious.
You mean like when it comes back?
When it comes back, yeah.
Sorry, I misunderstood. I was trying to parse the sentence.
I mean when it comes back. Yeah.
Yeah, I was only here for about half of them anyway, but
yeah. Oh no, I appreciate that people have other stuff going on in their lives. So.
Yeah, the one I really wanted to talk about was the one I wasn't here for, and it was really annoying me.
Well, I will be back to my normal streams on Infinity Cove starting next week. You're more than welcome to come along and talk about episodes you weren't here for.
We kind of did last week anyway.
Right, yes, so I'm going to wrap things up here. Thank you everyone for coming along. Thank you for the hype train, all the subscriptions, all the bits. Thank you for the raid, Sunraven. You can find me... Hold on, I've forgotten how to do my outro. Apparently I'm covered in ladders.
It's your mustache from your old skin.
Thank you. The Finite In Discord server that I share with Elcon and Minipax, that's where you can get notifications when I go live and when either of them go live. You should absolutely join in. You can also find me on YouTube, 100.555 there, that's where my VODs end up. My VODs, except for the Infinity Cove ones, are up to date, I think. Just about. Maybe missing the last couple. But I've got the Hades ones, I've got the Bingo ones, I've even got the Root Are Dead ones. They're all uploaded. So people can now see them. I'm going to send you on a raid to Calvin MC. I just wanted to make sure I got the name right there. Calvin MC, who is a member of the Guild Rush 2024 server. Guild Rush is a 1 month long charity event for raising money for Gamers Outreach. Elcorn, who is, as I've just mentioned, a member of this community and someone I share the Discord server with, is also participating. You should definitely be checking out Elcorn streams for that. But I'm going to send you over to Calvin so you can just see what's going on. If you can, I strongly encourage you to donate to Gamers Outreach. They're an amazing charity, and I strongly encourage you to support them as much as you can, in any way you can. And if that means just promoting the streams to other people, because you're not financially in a financial position to support them, that will help just as much. Just get the word out there. Thank you again, everyone, for coming along. There will be no more Doctor Who Roundup streams until Christmas, at least. Because Doctor Who is now over. So we will be back to normal Minecraft streams again, starting next week. But until then, thank you, Scotsman and Minipax, for joining me. And thank you to Storm, to Mythical, to Turing, to Elcorn, to Alistair, to Cosmic. I'm going to forget someone. Thank you, all of you, for coming along to various streams and just talking through them with me. I really love the fact that you guys have been passionate enough about it all to come and talk to me about it for 2 hours a week. So thank you. But yeah, that's going to be all. Thank you again, everyone, for coming. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and good night.